Hello everybody, welcome back. It's Joey again. You're watching Vegas D-Tech. We're in the lounge. This is Tech Talk number 34. And today we're talking about the current updates that you guys just saw from D-Lec and the current delays with the Legend. So if you guys are interested in hearing more about that, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Alright guys, so we got a lot to cover. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down everything that was said in that video. That some people are asking me, what does this mean? What does that mean? So let's just go ahead and actually break down the topics here, okay, one by one. Okay, so D-Lec said that initially, Nokta Macro, they were going to do some just minor updates. Something to do with timeouts and stuff, which wouldn't take more than a couple of weeks. Alright, and God, when you're talking about a couple of weeks, are we talking about a couple of weeks from last week, a couple of weeks from today, or a couple of weeks from now? We just don't know. She just says that, initially there were some minor updates that were going to be done. But now things have changed, is that they're getting feedback from the field testers, and she's saying that now they've gotten additional feedbacks, and now there are some major updates that need to be implemented, okay? So if some minor updates were going to take a couple of weeks, what are some major updates going to take?
Man, this is some bullshit!
Let's discuss what those major updates are. Number one, the major update will include having two multi-frequency options, okay? So currently you're going to have the ability to choose a single frequency and a multi-frequency in park and field. But she says that they've been requested to add an additional multi-frequency. So you're going to get single frequency and then multi-frequency 1 and multi-frequency 2 in both park and field. I don't know if that multi-frequency 1 and 2 is going to carry on any of the other modes. She only specified that in park and field there's going to be two types of multi-frequency. So I can only assume that they're going to change some of the parameters inside of there. So you're going to see some notable behavioral differences between the multi-freq option while you're inside. So she says that's going to take some time to get done. And that is a major update, and I can only assume that if they haven't written the software for it yet, and they're going to put this into the machines, I have no idea how long that's going to take, because how do you update the software in a machine if it's already packed? To me, they're not even packed up yet, because how? I mean, it's nice. Some of these machines that I've seen that are coming out, they have the option to turn them on to Bluetooth, and you could just wirelessly update the software without it ever being connected. I don't know if these new Legends have that ability to be wirelessly updated. I don't know how that's possible if they're in boxes on the shelf ready to go. Obviously, they're not, because I can't see how that's going to be done. But getting back to this here, the next thing that we're talking about is the tones. They said they wanted to make update to the tones, because right now they have 1, 2, 6, and 60 tones. And the testers are now asking for a 4-tone option. They said that the 2-tone is not enough and the 6-tone is too much, and they're asking for that Goldilocks sweet spot of 6 tones. So that's going to be also implemented with the multi-frequency update. They're also going to implement the 6-tone, all right? So also we're wanting to know, I don't know, in me looking around YouTube, I type Nokta Macro Legend, and I'm just trying to see if there's more going on, more testing, and I haven't really been seeing a whole lot of new videos coming up for something, that is right around the corner from being launched. And as far as I knew, the testers still had the demo lines, but D-Lec is saying no. She says, we're not seeing it because all of the test units have been recalled back to Nokta Macro. They want them all back, because they say that the ones that they had out there were the beta test units. They had limited options on there. They want to go ahead and get them all back, and they're going to send some of the testers, not all of them, but some of the testers are actually going to get the updated version to continue field testing. Well, I don't know how long that's going to take to update the new units and have those new units sent back out and have the field testers mess around with that. Guys, we are just in this testing beta mode right now, and it's really hard to foresee any kind of a release date coming anytime soon when you're still in that facet, of testing. Now, that being said, I don't know anybody who actually has a retail version of the XP Deus 2. right? Everybody that I know who has them, like if you watch Paystreak, I just noticed that he made a video of him sitting on his porch and getting his Deus 2, but his Deus 2 he said that he got directly from France, from Deus directly, not through a dealer or anything. So this has to be a demo line unit, a field test unit that he has. I don't know if that's the case. I believe that he has a field test unit because he says that it's the beta. It's the beta. So if that's the case, that's going to be the test unit, and that nobody that I know actually has a retail store-bought version of Deus 2 yet. So I mean, everybody's waiting, man. I know Deus 2 is about to pop on that. They've got to be very, very close. But if Deus was already ahead of Nocta, and you can only imagine if nobody has the retail version of the Deus 2 yet, you can imagine how far behind the Legend is waiting. You know, being that we're still dealing with back and forth testing units and field testers, you can only assume how long this is going to be. All right. A subscriber sent me a message saying that he had a video where Calabash Digger has made some concerns to DLET concerning the iron bias setting not being available on the Legend that he's testing. Okay, and as far as Nocta macro feels, it wasn't needed, and that's the reason why they didn't put it on there. She said she feels that if there was an iron bias meter on there, that we, the end user, would probably use it wrong anyways. And by setting it up wrong, we would just be missing a lot of good targets. And they referred us to using their little Faro check meter. Now that Faro check meter is going to be a little bar, and she claims this is going to be a whole lot better because the Faro check meter, when you have an iffy signal that's bouncing between two different tones, you know, it's going to be bouncing between a iron tone and a ferrous tone and a non-ferrous tone. When you have a signal that's bouncing between the two and it's on the fence, you can look at the Faro check meter, and there's a ratio bar that's going to slide up and down, and you could look on there, and as that thing fills up, it lets you know how much of this guess signal actually has iron in it, and then you could determine whether you want to walk away from it or not. And Nocta Macro feels that that would be a better option for us to use that. Now, if you guys don't understand what Faro check is, it's kind of, in a way, it's kind of difficult to explain, you know, and I try my best to knock it down into layman terms. But let's just say that you have a friend who's trying to jump over a fence. He gets halfway up it and he's just stuck there, and you're like, dude, come on, bro, are you coming or are you staying? Right? If you're coming, come. If you're gonna stay. But nevertheless, you got a person stuck on the fence. It can go either way. Same thing that happens with a target that you get, and it puts out a tone, and it's giving you a good tone, and it's bouncing between good and bad. You don't know which way to go, but nevertheless, you don't want to dig trash. With the iron bias, you can set it to make it sound more like it's trash, or you can make it more sound like it's more good. Now, either way, you lose on this, man, because if you mess around with that setting and you don't know what you're doing, and you got signals that are on the fence, and you make it lean more towards, well, those iffy signals that are on the fence, I'm going to turn my setting towards saying that it's more iron, that its probability is more iron, and it's going to just ring it off and cancel it out as iron. You could be walking away from some potentially good finds. However, if you've got it set the other way, where it's leaning more towards good stuff, then you're going to be just digging up a lot of trash. So, you know, man, honestly, there is no clear-cut way to get past it. If you're digging in a trashy area, if you're around trash cans, picnic tables, you're going to be dealing with trash. And there's no detector that I know out there that's going to be able to cut right through and identify trash as trash and good as good. And maybe this Faro check meter is going to be a groundbreaking, you know, option to a detector, and it's what got me looking at it for sure. But yeah, that Faro check is going to be a great option, but many people would prefer to have an actual iron bias setting where they can turn it down and turn it up. Me personally, I don't have enough experience with it. I've always got my detectors, and it just beeps. Whatever it is what it is. if I'm in a heavy trash area, I just assume that a lot of that signal that I'm going to get there is going to be trash, and I end up just not detecting there. You're not going to need a iron bias when you're on a beach because the targets are so few and far between. You know, if it beeps on iron, there's nothing out there to interfere with it. It's probably going to be iron. And if you get a ring, there's nothing going to be around it. It's probably going to be a ring, a coin, or whatever. But that's because on a beach, targets are normally separated. But when you're in a heavy traffic area that's filled with a lot of targets, especially under bleachers, picnic tables, and so forth, you're going to get inundated with signals that sounds kind of good and kind of bad. And this is where a lot of detectorists would prefer to have that iron bias setting, that they can lean it more, tune it down towards it being more sounding like trash, or leaning it towards more sounding like it's good. But if you play with that thing and you set it the wrong way, you could either be digging more trash or you could just be walking away from good finds. You're on the fence with that, and that's how Nokta Makro just feels that they do have iron bias filters already built into their machine, and the parameters are already set from the factory. Now, that being said, she said that it's an easy setting to add later. So if the majority of the Legend users are demanding that they want it, they can create an update and they can easily update that. So it should not be a problem to get updated. Okay, so what is real story? Okay, how long are we going to have to wait? Okay, what is the reality here in dates of it being, you know, coming out to you and being in your hand? Guys, look, man, D-Lex says she's not giving any dates. Okay, definitely not before February. Okay, so we got what? We probably got 2 more weeks in this month here, and she says definitely nothing's going to happen before February. So right now, man, as it sets with the dealers that I'm talking to, no dealers have any inventory. No dealers have any inventory shipments coming in, and no dealers even have a date as to when shipping will begin. Just nothing. Okay, D-Lec is tight-lipped about it. She says she doesn't want to start giving dates anymore because she doesn't want to upset people and, you know, make you guys, you know, your anticipation, and all of a sudden your hopes are broken. And she just doesn't want to deal with that no more. So she's on the fence about it. She's not sure. She's trying to give the best date that she can. You know, D-Lec initially stated that it would be a couple more weeks to a few weeks. So if you take a look at where we're at now, a couple weeks would put us into February. A few weeks would put us probably into mid-February. All right, guys. So, I mean, in my honest opinion, I really don't foresee anybody getting any kind of dates, you know, that we can count on until at least probably the beginning of March. Now that's all speculation, guys. You know, that's all we have right now is just speculation. But just take a look at what we're dealing with at this point. It's still in test phase, beta test phase. Field testers are sending their units back. The field test units are going to be replaced with actual working versions that were already upgraded. They're working on the software. They're trying to implement those updates that we were talking about, adding new multi-frequency modes and the tone. Guys, I'm not an engineer. I have no idea how long that's going to actually take to get all of that stuff put into units that I already felt were packed up, sealed up, ready to be shipped. Obviously, you cannot have units that are packed up and sealed up that need this software upgrade. So no units are packed up, no units are sealed up. The software upgrades are going to have to be done, and then they're going to have to be packed and sealed. How long is this going to take? God, if you guys know, chime in, man. Share your thoughts, give us some more updates, and tell us what's going on. But guys, that's all I have for you right now, man. I just wanted to go ahead and get through that because some people were asking me what exactly does that mean. I don't even know what iron bias means. Why would we need it? Why do we need another mode in multi-frequency when we haven't even tried the current multi-frequency mode that's in there? Guys, I don't know. D-Lec says that they're in no rush to release this detector. They don't want to rush it, and frankly, it is what it is. Those were her words, man. It is what it is. We've waited this long, right? And nobody has it. the guys that have the Deus 2 orders, they're waiting impatiently as well. And the only people that I see that are actually getting them in their hand are actually field unit testers for the Deus. So, man, that's it, man. I wish I had better news for you, but that's all I know. If I find out anything more, I will definitely update you with some good news and get back with you on that. All right, man. So hey, it's Joey again, Tech Talk 34. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope everybody's healthy out there in the field, in the parks, man, finding these things, man, getting it done. And hey, you know what? I'm gonna wrap this up and work on a couple more videos here that I got coming out for you. And you guys be well. I'll see you guys later. Joey Vegas D-Tech. Take it easy.